Let me share with you a few controversial truths about small business accounting. You hear a lot about small business accounting, people telling you do this, do that, but there are some quote unquote truths. They're really controversial because does not apply to every industry or does not apply to every company, depending on the size of the company or even every geography. Okay, if you are in the states, maybe some truths do not apply to if you to a business in Canada or Australia or Nigeria or Brazil or what have you. So the first controversial truth that you may have heard about is actually managing cash flow. Now the thing is that managing cash flow is important, but it is important to a certain extent. Okay, it is important because you need to really balance your revenue. So you gotta balance your cash inflows and cash outflows. But the thing is that your cash inflows is actually depending upon your credit policy in some cases. Let's say you are in an industry where people don't pay right away, right? So you have to extend credit, net 30, net 15, net 45, net 60, or have you. So the thing is that poor cash flow management could be a problem if your customers are not paying or your customers are paying very, 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 very late. Okay. So poor cash flow management can be deadly for small businesses. That's true. That's definitely true. Where it becomes controversial is that it's not always poor cash flow management that can be deadly for small business management. It's actually when you're not really collecting your cash on time. You can have poor cash flow management, but if people pay you in the end, this could be resolved. In other words, you can actually get a business line of credit to actually mitigate the temporary shortfall in cash flow. Okay. Now, many small business owners find it challenging to earmark funds to cover recurring costs and keep the business alive because they haven't really figured their revenue cycle properly. Now, the solution is if you want to stay on top of cash flow, you want to analyze your bills carefully and be thorough about collecting customer payments. And also, a robust accounts receivable process is actually quite essential here. You should always pay close attention to your monthly expenses and cut business costs wherever possible. Additionally, if you have equipment you no longer use, consider selling it to generate cash quickly. Otherwise, just get, as I told you a little earlier, get a business line of credit. You can apply for a business line of credit at your bank or credit union. Another controversial truth that you hear a lot about small business accounting is that you have to cover unexpected expenses, but you have to do so either in your budget or through a line of credit. This is true to a certain extent. Why? Because some industries are so dynamic and they change all the time. You can't predict certain things. Okay, so when it comes to covering unexpected expenses, it's going to be on a case by case basis. Let me give you an example. If a retail store earns $150,000 per year after expenses, it may seem to be in good shape, right? It probably is until an unexpected expense or emergency arises. For example, say an employee slips and falls at work and your business doesn't have adequate workers' compensation insurance coverage. Can you imagine that? That's crazy. But hey, listen, these things happen. I mean, God forbid, but yeah. Now, the medical cost and potential lawsuits could easily cost your business over $1 million. So even smaller expenses, such as a one-time government tax on all businesses in a particular area, or a vendor's price hike, can really affect your company's bottom line significantly. So what you want to do here is that you want to optimize your credit to manage short-term expenses, and you also want to monitor your long-term profitability to ensure cost changes don't threaten your overall liquidity. So covering unexpected expenses can be controversial to a certain extent unless you are able to really you have the right budgetary let's say measures to counter that. Another one I want to share with you is actually reporting finances. So for many businesses, one of the biggest challenges is keeping up with the financial disclosures required by the United States Security and Exchange Commission, right? It can be hard to stay on top of reporting requirements and ensure your document you actually document this information correctly in case your company is audited. Now, it is controversial because not every company actually has to abide by SEC rules as long as the company actually, if you have a small business and the company complies with U.S. GAAP, United States generally uh, generally accepted accounting principles, it's fine. Now you gotta really you go into the purview, you come into the purview of the SEC if you are reaching out to investors. That's when the SEC wants you to really follow additional disclosure requirements. So the best way to ensure you meet reporting requirements is to outsource some of the work. You can probably hire a bookkeeper or accountant who specializes in small business financial concerns to ensure your books are actually up to date. Let's talk about filing taxes. This is another small business accounting quote unquote truth that is actually a truth. It's actually a truthful statement to a certain extent. Now the thing is, when it comes to filing taxes, you can do it yourself or you can automate it. You don't have to necessarily do it in-house. Okay. I mean, as long as you have the resources and you have the processes in place to outsource that part, that's fine. And again, the IRS and the state tax authorities are not really after small businesses the way people want to make a sound. No, they just want to make sure that you are in compliance. That's all. Nothing really complicated here. Now, federal and state taxes are stressful for everyone, but they can be especially challenging for a small business owner. That's for sure. Now, while your business structure will determine your tax obligations, most businesses must pay income, unemployment, and payroll taxes. Okay. So when I say filing taxes, some businesses don't even have to file taxes. For instance, if you have an S corporation or LLC, those are called pass through entities. So the business itself doesn't pay taxes, but the owner, the company owner, has to pay taxes. Okay. Now, some businesses are generally required to pay estimated quarterly taxes if they expect to owe $1,000 or more when their taxes are filed. So failing to pay your estimated quarterly taxes can result in fines and penalties. Okay, so that's important to really keep in mind if you want to really be on the right side of the law. And so taking advantage of deductions can drastically reduce your bill come tax day. If your small business is home based, home office deductions, for instance, are crucial considerations. Section 179 of the tax code allows you to deduct the cost of business property depreciation instantly, and that investment cost can be reinvested into your company. So that's really good. Another one is staying on top of policy changes. This one is controversial because the tax law changes all the time, and you can't really be on top. You have to. This is just better to outsource everything. Okay, outsource everything to a CPA who is working on this every single day and has a better understanding of your industry and taxes, better than you. So CPAs are already well versed in tax law and can advise you about using them to your advantage. So don't try to really stay on top of tax law yourself. It's just too complicated. Let's talk about regulating payroll. This is another truth about small business accounting that's actually a little controversial in the sense that you can't really regulate payroll if you're a small business owner. Okay. All you can do is just abide by the latest rules. This is kind of similar to what I just said a little earlier about reaching out to a CPA. In this case, you don't have to reach out to a CPA. You can just reach out to a payroll company, or you can use payroll software. And because payroll software is constantly updated with the latest law, so if you're using payroll software such as Wave or Zero or ADP, for instance, you are sure that you are actually on the right side of the law. So playing the role of an HR or payroll expert is incredibly challenging. Errors in these areas come with serious consequences. Let me give an example. If you don't correctly classify new employees, you could incur costly penalties. Additionally, you must ensure taxes are filed correctly, pay employee accurately every pay period, properly track employee time off, and deal with a host of HR compliance challenges. So the solution here is to actually go with an online payroll services. They can remove some of the headaches for your small business. Okay, so you can reach out to Paychex, ADP, Gusto, whatever. Okay. Now you also have updating expenses. So as a business owner, you must track receipts and recurring expenses to claim them as small business deductions, right? Now, business deductions will lower your taxable income and help you understand your company's profits and losses. However, the IRS requires documentation, okay, and it's very easy to misplace receipts and forget to track your expenses. And but the thing is that you want to really move on to a position where you are digitizing receipts and actually record recurring expenses. You also want to really reach out to good accounting software that can help you help your office go paperless and digitally store all documentation that you need come tax time. Another controversial truth about small business accounting is that people talk about analyzing your finances. Experts want you to analyze your finances. Yes, you can analyze your finances, but hey, listen, if your accounting processes are not strict, if your accounting controls are not really good, your financial data is not going to be accurate. Okay, so analyzing your finances can really be truth can be helpful to you to a certain extent, and so reconciling your books can be grueling. That's for sure, especially if you don't have good accounting software and trying to do the process manually. It's very easy to make accounting mistakes that lead to incorrect data. So it's critical to verify that all business transactions are actually happening regularly. Consider checking your accounting books at the end of each day while transactions are still fresh in your mind. So making sound financial decisions involve three steps. So I want you to really focus on this trifecta. Only three steps. You have interpreting, analyzing, and advising. So, regardless of the reports you use, generating the numbers is actually only the first stage. What do those numbers mean, right? More importantly, how do you improve them? So, the thing is, you just want to really automate everything. Use accounting software. Use accounting software to reconcile transactions, to analyze your financial data every day. Okay, and at the end of every day, every week, every month, that's really cool for you to actually get the right data ASAP. And even cooler, at the end of every month, you can run cash flow statements and other relevant reports that reveal how your business is doing. You can actually run your balance sheet. You can run your P&L. Okay. You can also I've heard some truth about securing your data. So every time you increase your business's online exposure, you increase its risk of getting targeted by hackers, right? So it's not just large companies that must watch out. Hackers often target small businesses because they have weaker cybersecurity and risk management protocols. So this is true to a certain extent because if you actually transfer everything to the cloud, you're covered right away. Just choose a strong cloud provider such as Amazon, such as Microsoft, such as Oracle. You have a lot of them there. So remember that getting hacked even once can cost your business millions of dollars and permanently permanently not slain, permanently stain its reputation. Companies of all sizes must start taking cybersecurity actually kind of seriously. Another truth that I've heard about is do-it-yourself accounting. Do-it-yourself accounting is kind of cool. It sounds nice in theory, right? You can do it yourself, blah 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 blah. But listen, if you are in an industry where your transactions are complex, your transactions are many, you can't be an accountant and also be a business manager, a business owner at the same time. So you can really it's just better to outsource everything. When it comes to business accounting, trying to do it alone can be costly. You got to be an expert to run your business, but that doesn't mean you are a bookkeeping expert. Even if you can balance your books, making unnecessary mistakes is very easy, and invoices could accidentally go unpaid and you could run into cash flow problems or overpay your taxes. So, hiring a skilled accountant will ensure that your books are up to date and accurate. That's really good. Having a second pair of eyes on your records will actually reduce the likelihood of mistakes and help you identify opportunities to actually cut costs. And it will also save you big time, and because you can you have the possibility to spend time growing your enterprise as opposed to you know having journal entries, for instance. Also, working remotely. This is another truth that I've heard. I mean, like this truth that you saw, it was kind of controversial during COVID, for instance, where we were all surrounded at home. Nobody had to be in the office. You can see the limits of that business model. Now, while many businesses offer remote work plans and respect the productivity telecommunicating provides, remote work can create accounting headaches, including tax compliance risks. For example, if an employee doesn't disclose that they are working out of state, you may have unwittingly failed to withhold payroll taxes and could be in big trouble if you're audited. You may need to consider adopting a new remote work policy for your employees if necessary. You want to find ways to track your employees' work locations so you know you are meeting tax requirements. You also have embracing accounting software. So this is an important controversial truth about small business accounting. Accounting software is fantastic to a certain extent. Accounting software is important if your transactions become complex, right? If your transactions become too many. But if you have a simple accounting structure and you have a little bit of knowledge about bookkeeping, you can do it yourself. You don't have to have accounting software and pay 30 or 40 or $50 every month just to be able to use the software. Okay. But if you love to have things done automatically, accounting software can really help you out. I mean, not everyone wants to implement accounting software, preferring to use old school Excel spreadsheets that worked in the past, right? However, ignoring new accounting technology can put your business at risk and hinder its growth, especially if you have to really reach out to key stakeholders to get the data that you need to get. So if accounting software feels like an unnecessary expense, consider the time and cost savings these platforms can provide. So your increased accuracy will help you avoid potential fines and fees, and your extra time can be better spent on other endeavors. So choosing the right accounting software is actually a game changer. So find a program with the right features and functionality that will not overwhelm you and your team. So learn the software, train your staff, and enjoy the benefits. So let me give you a few accounting software, like they're really great when it comes to helping you scale real fast. So you have QuickBooks Online, you have Zero, you have FreshBooks, you have Wave, among others. Okay, so QuickBooks Online is an accounting software tool and a great choice for companies of all sizes. This software lets you generalize software to do a lot of things. You're able to generalize that software to generate custom reports like aged receivables, general ledger reports, profit and loss statements. Okay, you also have Zero. So Zero is really it's really cool. Zero has an intuitive interface and integrates with more than 1,000 apps, allowing you to create a customized accounting solution for your business. You also have FreshBooks. Here you have a terrific option for businesses that regularly send invoices to client. So you can create branded invoices and set up recurring invoices for clients who work with you regularly. And finally, you have Wave. Wave is the only free software on this list, making it actually an excellent option for leisure conscious, let's say, player in this field, especially if you are trying to really get the data you need real fast. So the takeaway here to this conversation, I spoke to you about 12 controversial truths about small business accounting, and I gave you managing cash flow, covering unexpected expenses, reporting finances, filing taxes. You also have staying on top of policy changes, regulating payroll, updating expenses, analyzing your finances, securing your data, doing your self accounting, working remotely, embracing technology software. So that's really important to really think about things that way.